on the horizon within the year or two, and um, it's been an amazing journey with this guy for 4 years, and he was my number one target, bringing him in to help me defend the island, and he exemplifies everything that is a jack jumper.
You have these thoughts in the back of your mind, and you get to this point of your career and you're thinking, is it going to be a last? When's that last game or last practice session? And I guess it's got to a point where I've been able to find out what's more important to me at this part of my career and my life, and I essentially announce my retirement and step away from basketball. And
Thanks, Clint.
thanks, guys.
Brislavich keeps it alive. Oh, Crawford, the fancy footwork and a fabulous finish. JackJumpers chance. McVeigh, 2 on the clock. Oh! Jack McVeigh. And have a look at what it means to Scott Ross. Bloody good. How good. These JackJumpers. They just never say die.
Welcome to the inaugural Tasmanian Takeover Awards episode. JD, welcome. How are you, my friend?
Thanks, mate. I'm very excited. I'm keen to give away some trophies. There's some very worthy winners and some very, I don't know if you call them notable, but some unnotable mentions as well. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And of course, Tasmanian Takeover is brought to you by the Basketball Fix. Do head over to thebasketballfix.com to get all your insights, news, and NBL basketball fix. This evening, or maybe morning, or lunchtime, depending on when you are watching or listening to this very prestigious episode of Tasmanian Takeover, and I will talk like I've got a plum in the throat. We are going to take a look at our team, the JackJumpers. We're going to reflect on the season as far as how we're going to award them. We're going to look at the MVP awards, the official awards, if you will, that they will hold. And then we're going to run what will become soon the fan favourite awards for the team, which we will run. And I'm really looking forward to it. My name is Berto, or Clint Burtonshaw, if you want to go all official, giving that it's that kind of ceremony. And JD and I have been very busy. Well, JD's been very busy because he's been clipping up a storm of fantastic little pieces of footage, not unlike the wonderful clip job he did on Captain Clint and his retirement speech the other day out there at Kingsborough Sports. It was a very touching moment, but a very suitable moment for our captain, who after 4 seasons has decided that it is time to step away from the great sport, spend some time with his loved ones, get that master's degree he's been on his way earning, and we are absolutely thankful that we have had the absolute privilege of having Skip lead our team to a championship, to finals victories in previous seasons, and just in generally to sit there and show what the absolute embodiment of the JackJumpers is all about in community and in basketball. And oh wow. One of the clips for those who are listening is where, after losing the finals to I believe it was the New Zealand Breakers a couple of seasons back, he's coming off the court and a young bloke is absolutely beside himself in tears, and he takes his shoes off and gives them to the young bloke. I mean, that was just fantastic. That actually got quite viral as far as sports media and the like goes. But I think just shows a small token of just the type of bloke that Captain Clint is, and he will be missed. I myself, many ask me who are my favourite players on the JackJumpers, and I can honestly not say that I have a favourite player. I've always said that it's two people, Scott Roth and Clint Steindl. And it comes down to because beyond the game of basketball, their leadership and their qualities for building culture are just amazing. JD, what are your thoughts on our great captain stepping down?
Oh, mate, what an honour it was to be able to put a few pieces of footage together for Captain Clint. He's been an absolute asset to the JackJumpers and the Townsville Crocodiles, who he started with, and the Perth Wildcats, who he gave great service to. Won many championships over the years. I think it's 5 championships he was involved with, and you don't win 5 championships unless you're a very, very respected player within the league. Yeah, sad day for the JackJumpers. Scott Roth sort of sold us up the river a little bit in his press conference by alluding to the fact that the skip was going to go on next year, and we're all very excited to have him on the list for one more year. And then only a couple of weeks later, he's standing in the wind opposite Kingborough Sports Centre, announcing that he's stepping away from the game and putting some time into the family, which is just brilliant. Yeah, congratulations, Clint. It was and thank you so much for the memories.
And Clint, we really hope you do get to see this episode, and we would really love to see that you remain in the Tasmanian community, get to stay down here, continue to be a part of everything that's out in Kingston. You and your lovely family, maybe even go and help out the Chargers again, which would be fantastic. Live in hope, just in case you need to stretch the legs a little bit. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to have your help. But more than anything, just to remain a part of the JackJumpers family, which it sounds like he will remain that way, which is great. And it sounds like from the press conference there that Christine Finnegan. I've just completely butchered Finnegan. Completely butchered the name. I'm sorry, Christine. I really do apologise. They're looking for what he can do, and he has alluded to the fact that he's not interested in coaching at this stage, which is, fair enough. I mean, we've talked about on the show how we'd love to see him step into a coaching role and potentially develop further, a bit like the path that Weeksy's taken, but can also respect the bloke for wanting to go off and finish his Masters, and I believe his Masters may even be in teaching. So how cool would that be if you were a young kid just roll into class one day and there's Skip up the front ready to take you through your lessons?
Good morning, Mr. Steindl. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good. That's got a ring.
All right, JD, take us through the next part of the show where we talk about the official awards.
Yeah, so the awards ceremony, the JackJumpers MVP ceremony is coming up. It's on the 22nd of February at Rest Point Casino. You can buy a table or a seat at these awards. You can go along. I won't be able to make it. I'm in Perth. I don't know if you're in the area, Berto, and you've got a spare $275 for a lovely dinner and to watch the Jackies claim their awards. $275 each, or go on.
I've got to be honest, I so wanted to go. Would you believe that I'm actually going up to Launceston that night to watch wrestling?
That's the wrong sport.
Yeah, I know. Yes, everyone's just found out what my dirty little secret is. I quite like a bit of wrestling. Yep.
Yeah, I revealed to the world that I'm a Collingwood supporter last week, and you've just unleashed yourself as a wrestling fan.
We've lost all credibility, and we're only through the start of the show. Very good. Anyway, please carry on. I interrupted you on a fantastic spiel.
So you can get a table of 10 for $2,600 as well. I'm sure there's still space available. Attendees are advised to arrive at 6:30 p.m. with formalities commencing at 7. I think it's going to be an amazing night, seeing the Jackies in their JackJumpers blazers that they get when they join the club.
They do look very schmick, and we got to see it at the Gazies. just looking at our team, I mean, everyone looked very nice, don't get me wrong, but there was something really mint about seeing our boys with their blazers, numbers embroidered on them, just it's a chef's kiss. All right, we are about to now take a review of the official awards. And in doing so, we're going to do this in two parts. The first thing we're going to do is talk about what the award is. These are the awards that they will hand out on the night at the official MVP awards for the JackJumpers. We'll talk about who received it last year. Then JD and I will give our predictions for this year. Now, some awards we can offer no prediction because we don't know the back office staff. So as much as we'd like to predict, it would be completely with no credibility and we could pull out any random names and just hope for the best. But as far as the player awards go, we'll throw a hat in a ring. Let's see how many we get right. Probably going to get most of them wrong, but we'll have some fun. And then we'll move into the fun part of the evening where we will talk about our prestigious awards. So, without any further ado, let's talk about the first award that is on the official list, and that is the Club MVP Award. Goes without saying it's awarded to the most valuable player of the season. Last year, it also goes without saying it went to Mr. Jack McVeigh. And I don't think we need to give any reason why. You go and do what he did in a finals game and shoot from the car park and get it in like it was nobody's business, with as much confidence as me walking into a lolly shop and me rolling up to order a kebab, and he is just well deserving of that. Now, what is interesting with this year is because we haven't exactly had the most successful season, we're really looking for a player that has just, every time they've stepped onto the court, they've just exemplified the team, the play, and in some respects also what are they potentially like off the court. JD, who are you predicting for the club MVP?
I think it's going to be my favourite, Jordan Teapot Crawford. Remember, we call him the Teapot because he's short and stout. But this year he played, I think we mentioned it in another episode, he was playing like he was 8 feet tall. There was only a handful of games where he wasn't the top scorer in it. If you look at the stats, I think there was only 6 games when it wasn't him or Milton, the top scorer. And he just went to another level this year. I think it's probably safe to say that he probably had a bit of a quieter year last year in his first year, and I think his performance in the final was the reason he came back. But he came back with a mission this year, and his new role coming off the bench. In swapping with Shawnee Mack, it just suited him to a T, and the effect he had on games was unbelievable. I've got Teapot as my MVP this year. What about you?
Well, I've got a slightly different route, and absolutely agree with everything you've said about JC. I think he had a very phenomenal season, even though it wasn't, the highest scoring. He wasn't the highest scoring import or anything like that, but certainly whenever he was on the court, he really made a difference. But there was another player who just seemed to be that all elements of the game were impacted by him, and his presence was absolutely felt. It was also very much not felt when he injured himself towards the last few rounds of the season. And that is my man, Majuk. Dang! with the knees up around his ears when he's hanging off the rim.
Yes.
Majuk absolutely came into this season and crushed it. And I would even say that he crushed it off the court through his efforts in community, based on the fact that at the Gazies, he also got the Game Time Award.
Absolutely.
So, my MVP for this year is going to Deng. What's our next award, JD?
Next award is the fan favourite. Now, I'm pretty sure voting for this award is still open. If you go to the JackJumpers website, you'll be able to go to a link and you can vote for your favourite player. I've voted. Yeah, there's no limit on how many times you can vote. I've voted quite a few times.
So how many AI bots have you set up for this?
Yeah, I'm actually I've got a history in process automation. I put a bot together, and my favourite I think I've made well known. But no, last year was well deserved. Milton Doyle was the most consistent player all year last year. I don't know if he'll get it this year. And we're unanimous on this one this year. I think the crowd favourite is going to be our man Majuk Deng again.
Yes,
I hope he brought the dual cab with him, because he's gonna take home a tray load of awards if our predictions are correct.
Absolutely.
What do you reckon?
100% agree. I mean, as much as he had such a huge impact when he was on the court for the team, you could also hear the crowd just absolutely amp up, particularly when he's just getting up on that ring. So, short of Will Magnay being able to get up there and have a Mags doing his big Donkey Kong hangs and whatever else, Deng was certainly filling that void. And just in general, he just absolutely lit the crowd up. So, look, you can never quite tell, and there's always, with fan favourites, a lot of bias goes towards this is my favourite player and that's my favourite player.
Yep.
But I've got a feeling there'll be quite a few votes for Deng. So, yeah,
I think so.
There, mate. All right, the next award is our defensive player, which recognises the team's best defensive contributor. Now, last year, it goes without saying, it went to Mags, because Mags. End of story.
Yep.
This year, however, even though Mags was still nominated as the Defensive Player of the Year for the Gazies, JD and I both have opted out of selecting Mags because he didn't get to play the full season. Now, had he not gotten injured and he got to stay in there, this would have probably been a one-and-done situation. I actually found this really hard to put a name on, because what I will say is, much like the JackJumpers way, a number of players stepped up. I'm giving this one, well, actually, before I say who I'm giving it to, I went and studied the stats, which is quite unusual for me, because I go a bit like Roffy doesn't sort of sit there getting too much into the stats and the X's and O's. I certainly like to go off my gut as well, probably because all those numbers just give me a headache. I'll be fair. But I'm giving this one to Deng, because when you look at the numbers, he's quite consistent in all the stats that matter for a defensive player. However, I'm split, and this is one of the few awards I'm going to say that I could have flipped a coin on, and if you put a gun to my head, I probably would have taken the bullet. I could also give it to, surprisingly, MD, Milton Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
Doyle this year, whilst he didn't have the offensive year that everyone was hoping he would, and he admitted so in one of the later part of the season's pressers, his numbers in the defensive stats are really quite good. And I urge you, if you don't believe me, go and take a bit of a look and see, because he actually was really there. And I would say that for Deng and Milt, almost interchangeable.
Yep.
Who you got, JD?
Oh, look, I started a bit like you. I thought I'd go with my gut, and I thought Fabian Krislovic, just to the naked eye, looked like the best defensive player in a lot of games. To me, I think a lot of his opponents walked away very battered and bruised, just with the way he plays. Our man Fabs. But looking at the numbers, it's really hard to argue that Milton and Deng were not the best defenders in the absence of Will Magnay. Will Magnay's numbers were far and away the best, but he only played 13 games during the year. And like you said, Deng and Milton were very, very close. So My guts and probably my heart says I'd love to see Fabs get it. But based purely on numbers, I think Milton will take it away this year.
Absolutely. All right, what's our next award, mate?
All right, is the Players Award, selected by the team members to honour a standout peer. This is who you vote for your bestie, basically. Last year was Will Magnay. Everyone loves Mags. And obviously last year he played almost a full season without finding a way to injure himself. So that's probably why he got some votes last year. This year I think
looking for ways though. Certainly looking for ways to injure himself.
We need to talk to Clark Rubber about getting him a bubble wrap sponsorship because we want a full season out of him next year if he's not playing for either the LA Lakers or Tanzania.
Bloody Tanzania stealing our best players.
This year I'm giving the Players Award, and I don't vote in this one, obviously, to Shawnee Mack. I think the influence he had when he came back from his injury was crucial to the seven wins in a row. I'm going to say 8 because he injured himself in the 8th game, and I think that was a contributor to the loss there. But yeah, no, an honourable mention to Shawnee Mack and the year he had. Really looking forward to a strong off season with the Canterbury Rams from Shawnee and back in business next year.
Just to that point, I'm looking forward to him having a strong off-season. I'm also looking forward to him having not that strong off-season, but he comes back injured. So, Shawnee, look after yourself. Best of luck with the Rams, but please come back to us full health, raring to go, because, mate, we need you. To that point, yeah, this one was a tough one again, because I agree, Shawnee Mack is certainly one that I can imagine the players would vote for, and I could see absolutely just how much of an impact he had. But I also can't look past, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record this evening.
Bloody hell, mate.
I know.
We've got other players, you know.
Yeah, I know. I just think, but you know what? It's kind of funny for the player that referred to himself as the forgotten one. Like I said, he is no longer the forgotten one. His name is
He's
well
at the
and
front of your
truly
mind.
on a lot of people's lips, to be honest with you. And I think he could potentially be set to have his absolute standout season next season with just his trajectory so far. So let's see. Hopefully he stays healthy, injury-free, and can bring it. Can absolutely bring it. All right, let's get into an award that, I think we're quite... we've got the credibility to make predictions on. Yeah, right. The Coaches Award. Given by the coaching staff to a player that's exemplifying exceptional performance or improvement. Last year, they gave it to Jared Bairstow, and I think it was absolutely well-deserved. JB was just one of those players that just seemed to get better and better, and it's a shame that we really... I don't know, I reckon we could have done with JB this year just quietly, but unfortunately decisions were made, and... I don't think he got to play many games at all this season, getting injured with the Bullets. So
with the Bullets, yeah, no,
was it the Bullets? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Bullets.
Bullets, yep,
yeah.
The JackJumpers retirement home.
Yeah, because you also had Sammy Mack who went up there and got injured as well.
Sammy Mack, Isaac White.
White's up there. He's not injured yet.
No.
Watch his space.
Watch this space, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's give our predictions. And this one, I'm reading between the lines a little bit here. I do like watching the presses post-games, hearing what Roffey has to say, hearing what he has to say about different players, whether they're sitting next to him or particularly when they're not sitting next to him. And I think the player who could be potentially attracting the eyes of the coaches, the Doctor, Anthony Drimmick.
Yes.
Now, I've absolutely loved watching him this year. Last year I loved watching him, but this year I loved it even more. And you could tell at the start of the season where he was a bit crook, a bit under the weather, And then after that, once he sort of got to full health, yeah, he's in there. He's got a bit of mongrel about him. I love it when he's in there just stirring it up. And he plays well. I love the fact that when he's going to the free throw line now, he almost invokes a little bit of Jack McVeigh with a little smile just before he shoots.
Absolutely.
I think the doctor, as far as showing real improvement and real potential, yeah, I reckon he'll pull the coach's award. Who you reckon, JD?
I love your suggestion. We love the doctor. I think every team's got a pest. And the kind of player who opposition players hate, but local supporters absolutely love, and I think that's the doctor for us. He just adds something different to the lineup. But I'm going down a different route. I'm going with my boy, who, can we just say, was absolutely robbed for the league MVP. I know Bryce Cotton had a very good year, but I think this man was drastically overlooked. Not even getting a nomination was Ruben the Terror Tarangi, who there was a press conference this year, and Scott Roth talked at length about how surprised he was that this guy was sitting on the pine with no takers. Played his 350th game this year. And was just a little bit dominant at times during the season. He trailed off towards the end of the season, but there were some just unbelievable plays, and I think he's one of Scott Ross's favourites. So I reckon Ruben the Terror Tarangi's got this one. The Tarangisaurus Rex, as my brother once put it.
I like that. Look, I think Terra did a fantastic job this season. You could really see it. You could see the point where it clicked, and he really started to fit into the team really well, having a lot of impactful minutes on the court. I think you're dreaming about him taking out the league MVP. I know you've got him up on your wall as a poster and whatever else, mate. But come on now,
absolutely. He's the next jersey I'm buying. If players didn't get sacked every time I bought a jersey, I'd buy his jersey.
You're not allowed. In fact, I think I need to sit there and email the NBL store, the JackJumpers store, Cash Converters, wherever you might try and get a jersey, and say, if there is a player on that jersey, JD's not allowed to have it.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
Right. Which I suppose is because, I don't know, maybe it's something about you and the lack of spirit for the JackJumpers, but we're now going to look at the spirit of the JackJumpers Award, and this is one that we cannot offer any predictions to. It acknowledges individuals who embody the team's ethos and spirit, including both players and support staff. So it really is, one of those real behind-the-scenes type awards. Last year, it went to a few people: Deb Hills, Chris Hills, and Leslie Buchanan. And this year, well, you'll just have to keep an eye on social media to see who gets it at the JackJumpers MVP Awards.
If I can offer a recommendation, I know. Yeah, here we go. This is just out of the blue. I know that Josh Higgins from the Basketball Fix absolutely raves about how professional Caitlin Davies has been as the media manager for the JackJumpers. He's building a really strong relationship with her, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that flows down to the Tasmanian Takeover in the not too distant future. So.
Absolutely.
Caitlin, if you listen, thank you very much for everything you've done. We hope you get this one this year.
Who knows, mate? Maybe one day down the track, we may be up for the Spirit of the JackJumpers Award.
Wow. If there was a passion of the JackJumpers, that'd be, we'd take it out every year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. It's now time for the most prestigious, most honourable part of the awards ceremony, and that is where we talk about the Tasmanian Takeover Awards. These awards have been selected painstakingly, as in we probably spent about an hour just throwing a few ideas around, to think of the best categories we could. And then we sort of kicked it around, probably for about an hour as well, as to who would get these awards. just to show how much effort we put in. Now, there is an honourable mention award I'd like to offer up this evening for JD is well and truly unaware of, because it would not be right to make him aware of this award. The Pest Award I'd like to offer to JD. Congratulations, good sir.
Thank you very much. That's to beat Anthony the Dr. Drimmick to that award is an honour. Thank you very much. I will take that and hang it on the mantelpiece.
Absolutely. Now we'll get into some serious ones. All right. The first award, Crowd Member of the Year. We have, in third place, we have Sammy from the Hawks Hangout, sitting in enemy territory, and there he would stand up and throw the bow and arrow every time one of his players got a score. And if you are getting to watch this vision online, you will see the little Hawks Hangout mascot doing his thing in our arena. Well done, Sammy. Well done for your 5 minutes of fame. In second place, we have the McVeigh Rockets. And
I actually couldn't find the vision of this if you're watching on YouTube. I couldn't find it. But talk us through it anyway, Berto.
Let's picture this up in the crowd at, was it the, which game was it at? Do you remember?
I don't even. I couldn't even find that. I know it was at My State Bank Arena.
Yeah, I can't remember what one it was, but certainly you had the boys up the back, all there, wearing the McVeigh Houston Rockets jerseys, and they looked the business. Cheering on the Jackies, but also throwing tribute to the great Jack McVeigh. Well done, boys. Well done. And finally, in first place, the winner of the Crowd Member of the Year, the lady in the light green shirt versus Adelaide. This woman absolutely went off throughout the whole game. You could see her there, absolutely giving it her all. We loved it. We loved watching her, cheering on the team. You want to talk spirit of the JackJumpers. This lady absolutely just shot it out of the park. Use your basketball analogy, Berto. Very good selection.
Honestly, mate,
JD. Very good.
I missed half the game because I was watching her. She was amazing. If anyone listens to this podcast and knows who that lady in green was, who was sitting in the back corner of the court against Adelaide, and her arms would go up every time we'd score. We would love to talk to her and know who she is, because she was fantastic. She made me smile all game.
Absolutely. So anyone who knows My State Bank Arena, that she was sitting on the right near where the exit is, that actually takes you out to the Emerald Lounge. So if you know where that corridor is, particularly if you are someone who gets to partake in a little bit of the pre and post game drinkages out at the Emerald Lounge, potentially you might know this lovely lady. All right, our next prestigious award, the Tassie Takeover Good Bloke Award. Going to the best bloke. We've got honourable mentions. Majuk Deng for telling our boy Sammy to shut up. Clint Steindl. Well, you could talk about this one. Why is Clint Steindl getting this, JD?
Clint Steindl is getting a Good Bloke Award because he answered the door and had a chat with my sister-in-law when her mail arrived in her letterbox. Good bloke, Clint. Cheers for having a chat with Pip.
Absolutely. And our winner for this award, Scott Roth, for calling out online abuse. Now, this is quite serious. I'm not even going to joke around with this one. I thought it was fantastic the way that he took to the presser and actually called out the absolute bullshit that was going on online towards the players, the players' families, it's just not on. And we spoke about it quite a bit at length on one of our episodes and stand by it. And it really, I think a lot more needs to be done to protect the players and their families in the online space. And I do understand the difficulties of such a venture because, I mean, let's face it, there's all bots and a lot of burner accounts and whatever else that gets set up just for these purposes. But I also do like that when you do see, in particularly the fan group pages and the like, when there's people in there just trolling away and going on like absolute pork chops, they're getting called out. And I think having our head coach sit there and call it out and put it into the public eye, well, it was amazing how fast things started to move.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you, Roffy, for, well, doing what you do best, and that is standing up for the boys and, you know, standing up for the club and everyone who's involved.
I will say, Berto, missing out on your multi is not an excuse to get online and abuse a player who's just, at the end of the day, rocking up to their job and doing their job.
Agreed.
Yeah, we don't give a shit about your bet, mate. if it's causing you that much anguish, give it up because it's not fair to the people who are just trying to do their job.
I don't begrudge anyone who wants to have a little flutter. It's not my cup of tea. I prefer to spend my money in other ways. But if you want to have a little flutter, go nuts. Have a good time. Everyone's got it. But in all honesty, treat it as what it is. Just something that you're doing. If it's make or break for you, and your only outlet then is to turn around and to abuse a bloke's family, particularly his pregnant wife, which was something that come out. Yeah, maybe it's time to actually seek some help because that's just not on. And if you disagree with me, well, good luck convincing me otherwise. All right. Our next one, JD, this is all yours, matey. This
is mine, isn't it?
Take it away.
Is the very prestigious, and I know at this point in the podcast, the players are all tuning in to find out who is going to win this one. This is the Golden Clippers, the award for the best haircut. And the nominees are Nick Stoddart for bringing back the bowl cut. What a great do he rocked this year. He had a bit of Justin Bieber about Nick Stoddart this year. We've got, of course, it couldn't be a hair award without the people's mullet, Archie Woodhill, and his flowing mullet. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely. And honestly, if it was any other team, he would win it 3 times over. Well done, Archie. We absolutely love what you're rocking at the back. But this will come as a surprise to no one. The winner of the first ever Golden Clippers, Jordan Teapot Crawford, for the cornrow artwork he was sporting this year. He was absolutely. Did you see it, Berto? It was the amount of work that went into that. That must have taken hours.
Mate, I had to go back and have a real look at it because the way you were frothing about it on one of our episodes, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you're going to make a mess of yourself talking about it. So I'm like, what was the big deal? Because in all honesty, he had great cornrows, fantastic. But yes, even the artwork at the back, he had the cross going on there. It was perfect. I'd like to rename this award, JD. I think in future we will not call it the Golden Clippers Award. I think we will call it the JD Sassoon Award.
I love it. I love it. From now on, it'll be known as the JD Sassoon. And congratulations, Jordan. Can't wait to see you back next year, mate, and to see what you can showcase on that gorgeous head of yours.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the dunk of the year. And I believe you've got a few clips lined up for this one as well. So in third place, we have Majuk Deng versus Cairns. It's the flick back from Stoddart to Deng, who just gets up on the rim and just comes down telling everyone what a bad man he is. Then we've got Majuk Deng again in round 16 versus the Adelaide 36ers, just doing the big hang. He's got the knees up around the ears to a degree. Double hanger. Beautiful work. Loving it. Just looked absolutely gorgeous.
What
But
I
the
loved
winner,
was the follow-up here, Berto.
Oh, Berno, I like that for a new nickname.
Berno. That's when you go to Bernie.
Yes. Where he sits there and pulls it down again and then goes for the three, just like to rub salt in the wound.
Absolutely.
Yes, that was perfect. But our winner, for shock and awe, the flick to Clint Steindl and the Clint with a one-hand jam. Now, I'm sure he came down and he probably thought, shit, where's the danker rub after that one? But that was so fantastic to see Skip getting up above the rim.
Oh, a bit like the lady in green that we mentioned before. That just brought me so much joy this year to see Clint jump up as high as he could. He was soaring, and he barely made the rim. and he slams it in, and what a memory for the Skip for his retirement. First ever dunk of the year, Clint Steindl.
I've got to wonder if at that point, as he's in the air, that was where he made the decision. That's it. It's getting no better than this. I'm going out on my sword.
I don't know if you listened to the Archie Woodhill interview that Josh did through the week, but they actually talked about this. And Archie mentioned that Clint actually attempted this during training one week. He had a go at a dunk, and he got yelled at by all of the coaches for even trying. So the goal to come back and try it in a game, unbelievable. Best dunk of the year.
Love it. Absolute love it. Well done, Skip. You will be missed, sir. You will be missed. And hopefully somewhere in the future, you'll get to sit down with us two meatheads and we can shoot the breeze about your career, your leadership, and how to jam. All right, the final award. Here we go. We'll just put some sound effects in with a little bit of a drum roll for the Takeover MVP. Our winner. Who have you got here, JD?
We've got both Majuk Deng and Jordan Crawford. Me and Berto had a big argument through the week over who was the rightful winner of the Tasmanian Takeover MVP. And we agreed to disagree, and we decided to have joint winners for the first ever TT MVP. So congratulations. Congratulations, Majuk Deng and Jordan Crawford, who were both so influential all season. Look, yes, we missed playoffs, but at the end of the day, it was by percentage, and we were rude with injury, and it was due to no efforts left begging from these two players. They were just outstanding all year.
Absolutely. No, well deserved, boys. And we hope to see you back in the new year or in the new season. It's actually quite sad sitting back watching some of these clips and sort of sitting there thinking to ourselves, oh, look at that. I'm so excited about about what's going on. I've managed to reveal our championship ball. There we go. A little slight technical difficulty. You can see there that if you're looking on screen, you can see that my banging around while we did the drum roll actually revealed the championship ball, which was totally planned and totally, absolutely something that we did as a special effect. Yeah, I know. No, it's quite sad to sit there and watch those clips because as much as we didn't have a successful season and making it through to the playoffs and, pulling another chip and running it back and all that, I think we got to see some real standout plays and some real grit and grind from the boys when we were facing adversity. And I think if nothing else, that just shows that it doesn't matter what our season looks like. If we keep to the JackJumper way, it's always going to be quite successful in the eyes of the fans.
Absolutely. It was, and Scott Roth mentioned it in a number of his presses during the year. Wins and losses are great, but at the end of the day, this team's about the community and the joy that they can bring, and the bringing the state together and defending the island. And we may not have made playoffs for the first time this year, but I think they succeeded in bringing the state together, closing the divide, and just bringing so much joy to a little island that has been trodden on and ignored by big mainland sporting organisations for decades.
Absolutely. Well
that's all
said.
I've got to say about that.
Fair. You sound like Forrest Gump, then. That's all.
I do.
Is that Forrest
I
Gump
get that
or
a lot.
Bubba Gump? Yeah. All right. Let's do, for one last time, our McVeigh watch. And what we've decided to do is just give his overall stats to date for his run over in the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. Jack's doing fantastic. What I'm also loving is Jack still each week does his video update in the JackJumpers fan hub site, app, whatever you want to call it. You can save it to your home screen on your smartphone. It actually presents itself like a nice little JackJumpers app, which is kind of cool.
Huh.
Little things. The little things.
There you go.
Overall stats today, JD, you want to give us a rundown of these stats, please, sir?
Yeah, he has been more than solid for the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, and I dare say, I know we got the call up to the Rockets a couple of weeks back. I don't know how that eventuated, but he has been a very, very solid acquisition for the Vipers over the last 6 months, averaging 31 minutes, 16.1 points. 4.7 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 70% with free throws. He's had a number of games where he's been in the mid-20s. One game where he was, I think he got 29 points. And he hasn't looked out of place in the G League at all. And as Scott Roth alluded to in his interview with Brett Costello a couple of weeks back, unfortunately, he's playing so well that we won't be seeing him back anytime soon, because he's been offered the big bucks by some international leagues, and we couldn't be happier for him. He absolutely deserves it, and it just goes to show the power of positive thinking and what it can achieve where you actually believe in yourself.
Absolutely. And look, I'll be very interested to see what that looks like, or hear what that looks like, when you think about the fact that we, as part of the whole two-way and whatever else, we retain the rights. I don't know whether that's grounds for any other leagues around the world or just the NBA or whatever else. So that'll be interesting to see how that all comes out. But I think the JackJumpers as an organisation would be quite reasonable to a player of Jack's stature who is just doing absolutely great things. And whether he stays in the G League, gets a bit more of an opportunity in the NBA, or whether he does travel to one of the other leagues, I think he's going to just continue to get better and better. And hopefully at some point he remembers the little island and decides to come down here and reclaim the keys to his home, and does another couple of seasons or 50 with the JackJumpers, which would be fantastic.
If you do want to keep following him, you can get him on Jack McTray. I'll start that again. At Jack McTray on Instagram. At the Jack McVeigh on Twitter or X or whatever they call it. That's where you can find him, or just search his name in Facebook. I'm sure he'll pop up with his inspirational quotes. But no, thank you, Jack McVeigh, for the memories, and we look forward to having you back in green and gold once you've made all the big bucks over in the big leagues, and you want to give back to the JackJumpers. We've always got a spot for you, mate.
Absolutely. All right, well, we've come to the end of the show, but there's a few things we do want to make you aware of. Of course, do make sure you go and follow all the social media platforms of The Basketball Fix. Pretty much The Basketball Fix on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. They're everywhere. Get amongst it. Make sure you do head over to our mini site, beacons.ai/Tasmanian Takeover. We've got links to all our episodes on there in the YouTube format, as Spotify, as Apple Podcasts. All the write-ups that JD does are on there. All our crossover episodes are on there. And we'll be giving it a bit more of a spruce up in the off-season as well. Speaking of the off-season, as we had alluded to on past shows, the off-season doesn't get any less busy for us. We've got, to help ease us into the lack of JackJumper action, we have got a bunch of interviews with, let's say, reasonably, or hopefully reasonably well-known personalities within the basketball community down here in Tasmania. Some a little more well-known than others. There may even be one that you might have heard on occasion if you've gone to an NBL 1 game of a particular team. So we've got those getting lined up, and we're hoping to punch those out over the next couple of weeks and get those to you. We'll also be doing a full review of the season and talking about what do we need to fill the gaps and what all that looks like as far as free agency goes. And we'll be giving our views and insights. And look, as we're just fans, we don't have any inside information. So really, it's a great opportunity for us to shoot the breeze and hopefully open the discussion with yourselves. Do make sure you reach out on the social channels if you've got any questions, any comments you'd like us to address over the coming weeks. And if you do want to just hit us up directly, we've now got a new email account, tasmaniantakeover@gmail.com. So shoot us an email. Let us know what you want to see on the show. Also, maybe let us know what you're thinking you'd like to see on the show as the new season kicks in. You can see that we've already been busy with trying to improve the production of the show, and the Basketball Fix and ourselves have been talking about what the show could look like as we carry on. So we'll definitely be looking to continue to not only bring you hopefully quality viewing and listening, but just as many bad dad jokes and jokes from JD as well.
There is plenty where these have come from, don't you worry.
Excellent. I look forward to it, sometimes with a little bit of concern, but I look forward to it, my good man. That brings us to the final part of the episode, the Tasmanian Takeover inaugural awards ceremony. This has been the Tasmanian Takeover for another week. Your for fans, by fans, Tasmania JackJumpers podcast, brought to you by the Basketball Fix. March on, JD.
March on, Berto. See you next time.
Doyle makes it work from the